Hello everybody, NitPicker here, and welcome to a brand new series, Worries and Hopes. This is a show where I look into a new trailer or demo on a game I'm currently anticipating or just want to talk about, and a way to talk about relevant topics in an easy way while working on the main series nitpicks. Today, Nintendo and HAL Laboratories shadow dropped a demo for the upcoming release of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, a title I am very much looking forward to, as it looks like a breath of fresh air for the Kirby franchise. So what do I think of it? Before we get into that, if you're new here, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and check out my main series I do called Nitpicking, all about reviewing games in depth and going over my opinions great and small. And since you're watching this video, I assume that you're a Kirby fan, so maybe you might be interested in my Kirby Star Allies nitpick I did this past February. Or maybe you don't want me to put a damper on your Kirby hype. I get it. So maybe check out some of my other nitpicks, like my nitpick of the Popeye game. Yes, this exists. Or maybe you'd be interested in my videos on the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. And lastly, if you want to see me nitpick the whole Kirby and the Forgotten Land game, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. Anyway, shameless plug done, on with the video. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a bold new direction for the Kirby franchise, being the first true step into 3D. The series dabbled with 3D here and there with games such as Kirby 3D Rumble, but that was just a weird side Nintendo 3DS game. This is a full 3D platforming adventure with worlds and core copy abilities and mechanics. So what did I think of the demo? Well, let's go over my worries and hopes for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Alright, so we boot the game up to a lovely cutscene, and it is a bit better than Star Allies. Not by much, but a little. If you don't know, in my Kirby Star Allies nitpick, I complained how the accompanying background music wasn't really atmospheric and took me out of the cutscene. Here, it's a little bit better, but not by that much. I feel like there's a little bit too much music to it, you know? But it is closer to how I feel it should be. It has a spirit way closer than Star Allies. And then we get to play the game, and I don't know what I was expecting, but for some reason, the controls just really clicked for me. Like, I don't know what it is, but Kirby's movement just feels so great to control. I also love his running animation with his arms back and everything. It's just really nice for some reason. Most of the controls from the Kirby franchise are here and accounted for. Except if you want to eat something after you inhale it, it's the ZL button now instead of down, since you need to be able to move down with the analog stick. And then we exit out of the tutorial area, and I gotta say, this game looks great. Sure, it's a little bit pushing towards the generic Kirby art style, but it's not exactly the same, and the pretty visuals do kind of mask it up a little bit, so I think it's alright. Besides, from what we've seen in the trailers, it looks like there'll be more complicated areas, so hopefully over the course of the game, the art style will shake things up more. But other than the art style, the lighting and camera work all look top notch and really nice. The only complaint I have is a few times the lighting lights up Kirby a lot, but it's not too bad, just kind of off-putting. But now for the gameplay, and yeah, it's Kirby in 3D. Who would have guessed that? All of the iconic copy abilities are here. Well, all 4 I played in the demo, and they all work flawlessly in 3D. Sorta. You see, for some weird reason, I had this issue when I got the sword ability in the first stage and I was swiping enemies. For some reason, if I attacked too close, I took damage even though the enemy was defeated. I guess you gotta make sure to not be in very close range. It's just kind of a weird issue I didn't have in any other Kirby game. Also, the bomb works really weird too. Like, you can throw it just as many times as you want, but they don't detonate immediately, meaning they'll just sit there for a few minutes until they eventually blow up. It's not bad, it can just make this kind of annoying and make you have to work around them, but it's cool. The other 2 abilities, Cutter and Ice, work perfectly in 3D. Though, don't use Ice against the boss. It's kind of pointless. Once you beat the demo, you then have access to the evolved abilities, and they show a glimpse of what's to be expected in the full game. But more importantly, it gives Kirby this stupid ass hairdo I both love and hate. But both of them are really cool. I initially thought the bomb ability didn't really do anything, but then I realized you could chain together bombs and blow them all up, which is really cool. My hope is that most of the evolved abilities will be just like that, and not like the sword ability where it's just bigger sword. Not saying it's useless or anything, but I just hope most of the evolved abilities are just really cool upgrades. The next thing this demo included was mouthful mode, which I kinda don't like how they introduced it in the first level. Like, I kinda wish it came in maybe 3 levels in, give you time to get used to Kirby in 3D, yeah. It kinda has me worried that mouthful mode will be entirely situational and used very frequently throughout the game. Some of you may like that, but in my opinion, I would kinda like the game to barely have it, that way it's really cool when you use it. The only way this can be offset for me is if there are a lot of mouthful mode abilities. If there's only 6 to 8 and you only use those 6 to 8 over and over and over again, it'll kinda wear out its welcome and just lose its wow factor. I mean, mouthful mode was a really weird thing to see in the trailer. You know how all of us reacted, we were losing our minds. So I kind of feel like it should be kind of infrequent, and that way when you get it, you're still like, whoa! But that's just a me thing. We'll see how this game changes my mind if it does at all. My main worry for the game as a whole, though, is that I kind of feel like this game is doing a lot of stuff. Maybe a bit too much new stuff. I mean, you could have just sold me on a 3D Kirby game right there. I didn't really need mouthful mode and all that. Just seeing Kirby in 3D was it for me. I was already sold. But all this stuff the game has kind of makes me worry the package is going to have too much of it. And what about the future? When we get Forgotten Land 2 or whatever, how will that game live up to the amount of content this game has? You know what I mean? It's probably all going to be fine. It's just kind of slightly worrying, that's all. Overall, I'm very optimistic about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I'm sure it'll live up to the hype, and I'm very excited to see the game release on March 25th. Kirby's finally back and all grown up. It's enough to make an old man cry. I've been waiting to see Kirby grow up and get some new blood in his veins, and I'm very optimistic this is the new direction for Kirby, and I'm very excited for what the future holds. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the Kirby and Forgotten Land nitpick and the other great content I got in the works, and I'll see you in the next one.